Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Thank you guys so much for checking out this banger of a video. I would appreciate it a ton before we get into it if you dropped a like on it real quick. Helps out the video and my channel a ton. And consider checking out the first link in the description below, twitch.tv/I_am_germ. Obviously, that's my Twitch channel. I'm going to be streaming there a lot more often in the near future. So check it out. That'd be dope. Let's get into it. We are back once again with another tier list. Today we're going to be going through the 2022 starting LCS top laners. I believe at this point we have all 10 of the top laners locked in, or at least mostly locked in. I know some of these are rumored. Some of these will probably be getting announced very soon. Maybe even by the time this video goes out. If it ends up we get somebody wrong in this list, I don't know, maybe we'll make an updated list at some point or whatever too, but I just wanted to start getting some of these out, getting my thoughts and opinions on some of these people. Yeah, we actually have 11 top laners here because it's rumored that 100 Thieves is going to be going with a 6-man roster with Tenacity and Someday. But with that being said, we can jump into it. We're going to be going from the bottom, the F tier, working our way up, starting in the F tier with Kumo. Rumored to be the FlyQuest top laner. This one I don't think is 100% locked in. Maybe it could be Haunter, maybe it could be Darshan, maybe Pobelter, I don't know. But if it's Kumo, that's not that exciting to me. I don't think he's been that good in the LCS so far. He's had some good games. He's had some okay moments. He's shown some talent, promise, potential, but you know, if you're FlyQuest getting Kumo, I'm not like, oh wow, FlyQuest got Kumo. Like, you know, I think he's one of the weaker top laners in a league that's already pretty weak in the top lane in general. I don't know. I'm not super excited. I'm putting him in the F tier. Also, Fate God. I'm putting in the F tier. Not a big fan of Fate God. You know, for Dignitas, when they had Fate God and Soligo both coming up at the same time, to me, Soligo was always the better of the two. Yes, Fate God has had moments. He's had some good weeks as well. He's been solid sometimes, but like really inconsistent. Pretty consistently not good, so maybe he is consistent in a way, but like, yeah, he has had some of those pop-off moments, but like, I'm not expecting him to be that good headed into 2022. Yeah, I don't know. He's just not really doing it for me. To me, he is one of the worst top laners in the league, and that's where we're at. Top lane's super hard in the LCS, though, for me. I really don't love a lot of the top laners we have. Next up in C tier, I'm going to be going with Jenkins. He is reportedly, or maybe officially, I think officially at this point, the new CLG top laner. Really cool getting to see a guy, you know, come up from Academy, make the most of the whole crazy Alfari situation where he looked decent in some games for Team Liquid, and now he is getting a chance with CLG. And you know, I've said this before, I wouldn't ever wish CLG on anyone, but obviously an LCS opportunity is better than no LCS opportunity at all. CLG has some new management in place. They're making some new changes. They have a new young roster. This team might be rough this year. You know, they have so many young and experienced players, but they could be solid this year. I think they have a solid man up in the top lane in Jenkins. We will see how it goes. I would rather have Jenkins than Fate God and Kumo, so that's where I'm at, putting him in the C tier. Next up in the C tier, a player that's hard for me to rate. I have Revenge. I really don't know where I'm at with him. I could put him high C tier. I could see him low C tier. I could even see him high F tier. I feel like this guy's a little bit overrated. I'm not a huge fan of Revenge. I've never really, you know, watched too many games and been like, oh, Revenge was really impressive in that game. Oh, Revenge really popped off. Oh, Immortals won that game because of Revenge. I know that Immortals really likes him. Obviously, you know, they've been saying they're building around Xerxes and Revenge. It's cool that he's a resident. He seems like a good guy, but like, I don't know. Again, these bottom 4 top laners, I don't really love any of them. I think they're all pretty interchangeable. If you wanted to move Fate God up and Jenkins down, or Kumo up and Revenge down, or whatever combination, I wouldn't argue with you too much. I think these are pretty clearly the bottom 4 top laners in the LCS headed into 2022. So I don't really care too much about whatever order specifically you're going to be putting them in. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Headed into the B tier, I have Tenacity. Tenacity is a guy that I'm so excited to see him getting his LCS opportunity. I think he's like 19 years old. Obviously, with all new young players, you never know how they're going to do right off the bat. He might struggle right off the bat. He might be like an F tier top laner early on in 2022. But I think he has a ton of talent, a ton of potential. We saw him go to Worlds and, you know, dominate in solo queue, get really high ranked, very fast. he is an exciting prospect that obviously 100 Thieves is very excited about, because I'm sure they had chances to sell him off. They decided to hang on to him, go for the 6-man roster. He's going to get to learn from Someday, play against Someday, play with a very good 100 Thieves team, which is going to help him look better, I do believe. Getting to learn from Reaper, Mithy, just 100 Thieves has a lot going for them right now, and I think Tenacity is going to be a big part of that. I'm very excited to see him play. Like I said, might be a slow start, but in the long haul, come late spring, maybe even early summer, I think Tenacity is going to be very good. And I could even see him, potentially being above B tier at some point this year, but probably not so much until next year. But yeah, I'm excited for him. Next up in the B tier, I have Hooney. This is a guy who I know a lot of people are going to say I underrate. A lot of people say that I don't see it or whatever, but I'm just not super high on Hooney. I don't think he's, top 3 LCS top laner like a lot of people try to say. I think he's very middle of the pack. He has some big games. He has some carry games. He has some good performances. But he has some not good performances too. He makes some weird plays. He loses a lot of lanes that he probably shouldn't lose. Did TSM win a lot of games because Hooney popped off, because Hooney carried them, because they played through Hooney, anything like that? No, I think all in all, TSM was pretty disappointing last year, especially when it came down to big games and like the playoffs and big moments and stuff like that, trying to qualify for Worlds. And I think Hooney was absolutely a part of that. And yeah, headed into 2022, I'm not expecting him to make any like big strides or major improvements or anything like that. He's good, he's solid. You can do worse than Hooney, but like, I'm not going to be excited about getting Hooney at this point in his career, unless things majorly change headed into 2022. Next up, also in the B tier, I'm going to be going with Someday. This is another guy that's really hard for me to rate right now. Someday has been a beast in North America for a while, but 2021 was not that great of a year for him. He was just kind of meh. Like, he wasn't bad, but he definitely wasn't like good. He definitely wasn't like carrying 100 Thieves or showing up consistently for them, or even a big reason for their success. I mean, he's solid. He's a rock. He'll usually do at least okay. But yeah, he wasn't popping off. He wasn't carrying. He wasn't really going crazy. He seems like was pretty replaceable, and honestly I think that's why we're going to see Tenacity get some games, and why maybe even headed into 2023 Tenacity might have a chance to take over as a full-time top laner for this team, if not maybe at some point during like summer split. But again, I think Someday is solid. I think he's okay. He has a huge champ pool. He can play weak side. He can do what this team needs him to do, especially since they want to play around like FBI and players like that anyway. So I think he fits in on this team okay. I wish he was a little bit more consistent. I wish he did a little bit better if 100 Thieves wants to take that next step up. But that's where I'm at with him right now. Headed into the S tier, I have Licorice. Now, I was very critical of Licorice during his time with FlyQuest. I thought he looked really bad. I thought he looked really like FlyQuest made a mistake trying to build around this guy, that he looked like his best days were behind him. Maybe it was like the Cloud9 curse of like Cloud9 builds its players up and then gets rid of them, whatever. But then he went to Golden Guardians and he really got revitalized. Now, yes, we saw, a small sample size for Licorice, but he had a player of the week that he won with Golden Guardians. He also made Golden Guardians look like a very strong team, and I think he was a big reason why. I think he's happier to be there. I think he's more excited. I think he's going to be more motivated. I think 2022 has a chance to be a big year for both Golden Guardians and Licorice. Again, I could see people saying that I'm overrating him, but this is what I think about him. I think he's going to have a big year. I think he ended 2021 strong. I think carrying that momentum into the next year is going to be a big opportunity for him. Next up in the A tier, I have a Bwipo. Now, Bwipo is hard to rate. If you put him in B tier, I wouldn't argue with you too much. If you put him in A tier, I wouldn't argue with you too much. If you put him in S tier, I could see it. I might argue with you a little bit more, but I could absolutely see it. Bwipo's a guy who has been awesome, both domestically and internationally as a top laner in the past. My only concerns and worries about Bwipo are the fact that, one, he was a jungler last split, and two, the last split we saw him as a top laner, which was 2021 spring for Fnatic, he didn't look that good. He inted a lot. He was very inconsistent. Was it a team issue? Was it just a bad split from him? Is he ready to go? Is he revitalized? Is he revamped? We'll see. Also, being on this stacked Team Liquid team is definitely going to make things easy. You know, he's going to be playing top lane on easy mode. 1, he's playing top lane in the LCS. 2, he's going to be playing for Team Liquid. So maybe putting him in A tier is a little bit too low. Maybe he should be moved up to S. But I want to see it first. I want to see him pop off. I want to see him dominate. I know he's capable of dominating in the LCS, especially on a team like Team Liquid. But yeah, we got to see him do it. He could be one of these guys who just comes to LCS and cashes out and collects a paycheck as well. You really never know. Also, some off the riff drama and stuff going on as well. Who knows how that situation's going to be sorted out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe coming to the United States will be good for that. Maybe it'll be bad for that. I don't know. I've got him in A tier. Next up, into the S tier, I have Impact for Evil Geniuses. I think this guy was a beast for Evil Geniuses all year. He's still the weak side king, but he started to show he can, you know, carry sometimes too. The Renekton's really, really nasty. He had some other big carry games. He was, you know, like an MVP candidate for Evil Geniuses for most of the year. If Evil Geniuses does end up getting inspired, that Impact inspired topside is going to be really, really nasty. Impact is going to be, I'm sure, a great player for guys like Jojo Pune and Danny to get to learn under and play around and all that. EG is going to be a good team. I think Impact's going to be a big part of that. He's still strong. He's still motivated. He's still really, really good. And I think he's going to have a big year. But finally, at the top of the S tier, I do have Summit coming over from the LCK, coming over from Sandbox into the top lane for Cloud9. You know, even Fudge said, you know, I think Summit's probably a better top laner than me right now. And obviously Fudge had a very, very big year in 2021. And obviously, you know, that's a tough thing for somebody to say. But this guy was really, really good in the LCK. Like, even Fudge himself said this guy was probably a top 3, top 4 top laner in the LCK. And you're coming over to the LCS, where top lane is much, much easier than over in the LCK. Now, obviously, there's always going to be questions about how he goes from Korea to the United States, how he makes that travel, how he fits in with Cloud9. You know, we'll see how all that goes. It always could work out bad, but players who are able to make that transition successfully usually find a lot of success and are able to pop off. I think this guy, you know, he must be excited about coming to the LCS because he signed, I think, a 3-year contract with Cloud9. They also said that he's willing to, you know, try and learn English and like interact with the fans and all that stuff. So that's a lot of stuff that I love to hear. And he's a beast. You know, I think he's going to be really, really good. And I think the top lane competition isn't that, you know, steep. So I think he has a chance to absolutely pop off and really help Cloud9 do something great this season. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen, my LCS top lane tier list for the 2022 season. Again, it's not all locked in. Again, you're going to disagree with some things. You're going to agree with some things. It's all just opinions at the end of the day. Don't take anything too seriously. Don't throw hate too much around at my list or anyone else's list or whatever. But yeah, I appreciate you guys checking this one out. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your tier list looks like or what you think I got right or wrong. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.